Okay, guys, I'm back. I'm going to finish up how a bill becomes a law, and then also kind of teach you guys about how Obamacare became law as well. So actually, this is part of the floor consideration. Is they have to vote on the floor. Okay, so remember, most bills start in the House. Okay, so after they finish debate, if there is debate, after they add any amendments and that sort of thing, they're going to vote. Okay, so critical bills may have a roll call vote where they call each member's names, but actually in the House and the Senate have these little buttons that you push for yes or no at their desk. They have to be present to vote. They cannot vote from home or anything like that. Okay. So this is just a chart on filibusters, okay, how many times it's been used and so forth. This goes into 2008, okay, so you can see it's not all that uncommon for filibusters to take place, okay. So you let's say a House bill passes, okay, then it's going to go to the Senate. Senate's going to have hearings. They're going to do markup. And then they're going to do floor consideration as well, where the filibuster can take place. Okay, so this graphic here kind of shows you the House. Okay, gets a number. Sometimes we go to Budget Committee because that's going to be how we're going to pay for it. Assigned to committee, subcommittee, hearings, markup, full committee markup, Rules Committee for the House floor. Okay, the bill gets on the calendar. Floor action, the bill either passed or is killed, okay? And then the Senate, similar way of doing this, okay? Now, what's this? We're going to have two different versions of the bill, okay? And I've already talked about conference committees before. So you get two versions. Version 1 started in the House. Version 2 started in the Senate, okay? And they've got to work out the differences between those bills in the conference committee, okay? So that is our fifth step. And as I said, House and Senate versions are taken up. Now, the members of the conference committee are usually from the committee that the bill came from in either house. So if it was in the Agriculture Committee in both the House and the Senate, it's going to be those same people that worked on it, studied it, marked it up, had the hearings, all those people that really understand the bill well. So if it makes it to this point, there's a good chance this bill is going to pass, okay? These are usually strong supporters of the bill. They have room for compromise, okay? After the differences are resolved, the conference committee will do a report just like we talked about reports before, which is a summary of the bill. And then it goes back, okay? Goes back from the conference committee back to these two because this is going to be version 3. Okay, version 1, version 2, conference committee produces version 3. Okay, because what do you have to send the president? Has to be passed, the exact same words have to be passed in both houses. Okay, so this from the conference committee goes back to the House to be voted on, back to the Senate to be voted on, and then it can move forward to the president. Okay, and that is really the importance of these conference committees. Okay, you can see this room here. You got guys on both sides of the table discussing this. This looks more like a hearing room where you have people testifying in front of the members of Congress. Okay. All right. So here we go. We go to the president. All right. The president has not one, not two, not three, 4 options. Okay. The first 2 are really easy, simple, okay? He can sign it, make it a law. He can veto it, reject it. It's over, okay? Now, the House and Senate can work up different bill and send it back to the president, okay? But he's either going to pass it or sign it, or, okay, there's something called a pocket veto and what I kind of call a ghostwriter, okay? So if Congress is in session at the end of 10 days, so they send it to the president lets it sit on his desk for 10 days. And Congress is working, they're in session, just like, say, we're in school. it automatically becomes law, okay? Because he has the option to veto it. If he doesn't, it becomes law, okay? That rarely happens. The other thing is a pocket veto. So at the end of those 10 days, if Congress is not in session, it's called a pocket veto, and the bill is vetoed, okay? It does not become law, okay? So those are the 4 options that the president has, okay? These bottom 2 are pretty rare, okay? Now, George W. Bush in 8 years only vetoed 2 bills, okay? Most presidents tend to veto more than that, okay? Whether there's something in the bill they don't like, or they're just really opposed to it all the way around, okay? So that is the 6 steps of how a bill becomes law, okay? So I'm going to see if I can change this to where I can go big here. I don't know if it'll let me. Shoot. Okay. I think once I'm recording it kind of does this. Okay. Maybe I'll do a second recording on this. All right. So that's that. And guys, this is the end of the chapter. So I may sit on this a couple days. I'm going to give you 2 questions. That'll be your homework for the week. And then I'll come up with a test for you guys. Okay, I'll probably do it like Thursday. All right, and it won't be real long. So be prepared for that, and then watch this second video. Okay, and you can ask questions about that video too. Either one. All right. See ya.